Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. I just appreciate everybody watching. Watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Good morning. I thought Dakota was in this thing. What's going on with y'all, man? Good morning. How y'all feeling? How's everybody feeling? Everybody all right, man? Everybody healthy? Everybody good this morning? Let me go get my music started. Y'all know what time it is, dog. Hope everybody had a good evening. Listen. If you first off, two things. If you all haven't liked, subscribe, let me get out that way. If you all haven't seen the episode with Dre, AJ, and myself from yesterday, the Trap or Die podcast, recapping obviously what happened with Ron Rivera over the past couple of days and how he's handled his team and how he's handled his words and the pressers. And then obviously a quick preview on the Chicago Bears, a very quick preview on the Chicago Bears. Make sure you go ahead and check that out when you all have some time this week, preferably before Thursday, right? Because we got the game on Thursday. All that good stuff, man. So those administrative items out of the way. Oh yeah, one more thing. Deontay Wilder got a fight this week, man. Take a look at that John on the Pivot, the episode on the Pivot. He had an interview this week. It's pretty cool to just like get some insight on him. Cause I forgot for a minute that he almost retired. I ain't know that. Hawk, what's going on? Morning Trappers. Hey man, JB, what's up? What's up? He said I took 3 days off with faith. Couldn't take any more picking for my coworkers. JB, I just want you to know I took off a couple days this week as well. Nothing Washington related. But I took some days off too. So listen, everybody needs that little break away from people. And I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. We just have different reasons. But I understand, man, because the Commanders have stressed people out. Especially a lot of people who put like their emotional investment, their energy into that. Some people who put their financial energy or finances into the team, and to see it not necessarily, working out in their favor. And then I also have to take a battered beating from their coworkers. That ain't the move. But yeah, good morning to all the morning trappers, man. Appreciate y'all checking in. Wednesdays, like I said, we typically do the film sessions, and this one, how I say this? Obviously we can cover a lot, but I think my real focus yesterday, after looking into just some numbers, because for what it's worth, for those who don't know, I'm not going to say too much about it, but I do more film study outside of the Commanders. And I don't want to bring no excuses to everybody, but I only say that to say I had some deadlines to meet this week, and they were Monday, but I got an extension. So essentially what I'm saying is, as much as film as I wanted to watch Monday and Tuesday, I had to handle my other priorities. So I guess I'm really good at time management in a sense. But my point is, the way I made use of my time to get ready for this film session this morning, it was very easy to look at 12 handoffs from the Commanders and dive into the rush game for the offense. Like, so I looked into it. And ladies and gentlemen, I will ask you this question before we get started. What in the hell is this? I will ask you all this question. Let me exit out of that. Do you all think that the Commanders should have ran the ball more? Do you think that Scott Turner quit on the run game? And if you think about it, those are two different questions. And my answer is I don't think he had a choice but to quit on the run game. I don't think he had no choice but to quit on the one game. You give me your opinion. I'm not gonna sit here and say I would go this route all the time, but I think when you see the success that you have or the potential that you have in the pass game, and you see how badly you're getting your ass whooped at the point of attack in the ground game, you just gotta say, hey, it's just not our day. It's not our day. So I have a couple of plays before that we'll dive into, and 3 of them that we'll dive into real time because I didn't have too much time to look into it. So we'll dive into 3, which is the 3 at the goal line, and then 2 plays of Dyami Brown and Carson Wentz. Oh damn, that's 5. And I got one more, an issue with Carson Wentz that has showed itself on several occasions over the past couple weeks, and then we'll get into the run game. So we do got some things to talk about today, and we'll go ahead and tap into that right now. So let's go ahead and start with the positives, and start with Dyami Brown. Dyami Brown had himself a little breakout game on Sunday, you know. All right, so we're going to start in order. We're going to go with the first one being the big, let me make sure this sounds straight. The 75-yarder, the one play 75-yarder. All right, okay. Let me remove. Should I remove? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and run the play, and then we'll talk about it. But shout out to Dyami, though. Hey, did y'all see that? The explosion, bro. Look. I gotta do this part one more right here. Right here. This is where he took off, bro. That man exploded past Caleb Farley, bro. Bro, he ran so bro, he couldn't even keep his balance. He ran so fast, bro. All right, so what happened here, though? Obviously, incredible, great anticipation from Carson, great read from Carson, great recognition from Dyami Brown as well. Like all of that, right? So here we go. So what you're seeing right now looks like a simple cover 4 shell in a sense. And I think what really hurts the Tennessee Titans is this safety number 3. I think that's number 3. I can't. Oh no, Caleb Farley's number 3. I don't know what that number is. I can't tell you, but that strong safety that you're looking at by number 3, where Dyami Brown is. And also too, by the way, everybody, if you all don't see something that I'm saying, just let me know in the chat, because there's been some people who've been telling me, like, you know, try to remember to like outline or show who I'm talking about, because like on my side I see a mouse and I see an arrow, so sometimes I can maneuver and act like y'all see the same thing I'm seeing, but y'all aren't seeing the same thing I'm seeing in terms of like the mouse and arrow. Okay, so here we go. That play action sucks up that strong safety who, and essentially is supposed to play obviously deeper than where he is. Like his depth is already messed up, but now that play action screws him up. He's supposed to be over top of his safety. But also too, there's a few things with quarters, bro, and I want everybody to know this now. I'm always learning with this stuff, right? So everything that you hear is stuff that I'm like come to understand. But there are several different ways to play quarters defense. So it's not all one way to play quarters. And the reason why I say that is the information that I got, like this is quarters defense, but the information that I got is always, you can tell where a corner's help is in quarters based on where the safety alignments are, right? So the way both safeties are aligned in this situation, you see the safety at the top of the hash. So you're looking at the stacked receivers. So at the top of your screen, the safety is like tight and close to his cornerback. And it's the same in a sense, a little bit different on the field side. Like there's a little bit more space in between, but they're tighter. So it's like it's not a true like over top type of situation. Like I think they're playing Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson is in the game, and there's a reason why the safety bites as hard as he does on that play action. And I think it's because Brian Robinson is in the game. So like he's not getting no passes his way in their mind, right? So all of these things are playing a factor. So I don't know the specific quarters coverage that they're in right now, but it's supposed to be a 4. But ultimately, the way they are lined, like Caleb is already back getting into his backdrop or his back pedal. And I think the safety based on this one, if he's carrying vertically in Dyami Brown, he's supposed to stay over top. He's supposed to stay over top. And I think if you look at the top of your screen, you can see how they're playing this one. This is more of a match coverage in a sense, probably. It's probably like cover 4 match and some variation of it. Because as you start to climb, you see those 2 linebackers in the middle, right? And then you have your strong safety or your free safety that's near the hashes. He starts to cover and run with who's that? Terry? Starts to run with Terry. So ultimately what I'm saying is like it's a 4, but it's a match in a sense. But what this play action does, it sucks up that safety that's supposed to be over top of Dyami Brown. He just doesn't know what he's supposed to do at this point because he knows he screwed up. And Dyami Brown recognizes the safety's depth, and as soon as he recognizes that safety's depth, takes off and explodes right past Caleb Farley, who was probably expecting help and didn't get it. Easy money for Dyami. But what also helps Dyami here is like the fact that he was able to have a very good catch too. Like all of these things that I think, shout out to Sadiq for fighting. That's a big boy fight right there. Like that adjustment that he made right there is very good. It's incredible. Over the shoulder, right? That's not easy by itself, but also a little bit of poor positioning in a sense. Like if you see where he is when he caught it versus where his body was taking him, a little different. But at the end of the day, you made a catch. And to Dyami's credit, man, and I've never knocked Dyami. By the way, if you all want to take a look at Dyami Brown's potential, I did a film session like in June or July about Dyami Brown's prospects and what he can do for this offense. That was it. That was literally it. And so for all of the trouble that he had in preseason and training camp, I was a little disappointed in the narratives around him. Not because he was underperforming, right? But he was truly a prospect to be a big play guy for this team. Like that was real. Sorry for keeping it on pause. So for him to actually show up in this instance where Jahan Dotson was out, that's kind of where I'm at. Like in terms of I don't think it was fair. I believe that he needed that shot. I think he needed this opportunity, and for him to see that and for him to take advantage of it was really good. Good morning to everybody. Good morning 757. Good morning WFE. Washington football. All the things I saw before the season started, I was blind, and I was just kidding on you before. Oh no, you good? I don't even know what you said unless you was talking about if you was talking about the co-workers. It's all good, man. Jokes are jokes. But appreciate y'all checking in. Good morning 757. Good morning Washington football enjoy. Good morning to all the people that's just checking in. We just went over the first touchdown for Dyami Brown. Today we will be just diving into the run game for the most part. There's several different plays that we'll tap into. Like we'll talk about the goal line series. We'll be doing that real time because I haven't had an opportunity to really fully look at that one. So we'll be doing that real time. And then we'll look into like one big missed opportunity for the Commanders that really ultimately hurt Washington. A byproduct of them scoring just 17 points. So we'll get into that as well. All right, let's get into the next one for Dyami Brown. Yes, sir. Another day of greatness. Appreciate the positivity, man. Yes, sir. Rise and grind. Good morning. Good morning. All right, Dyami. Paycheck. Here you go. All right, let's go ahead, watch it, and we will talk about it. Hey, so look, notice, don't forget this nugget. Notice where that single high safety is, because we're going to talk about this later in the session. All right, so let's go ahead and start from the top. Now, notice where that single high safety is, right? Indication of a man coverage or cover 3, depends. But you got, it looked like man across the board to me, shouty. It looked like man across the board to me. So what you're seeing here, I mean, actually, this is probably where you'll see it. So we're gonna get back to the other one, but this is where you'll see it, right here. That's Wentz making his check based on the coverage that he sees, right? Putting his offense in the best situation to win. So that moment, now let's go back to the top, because you don't see that on this angle. They check into that slot fade situation for Dyami, right? And while Dyami doesn't really get separation here or stack his receiver, Carson Wentz again delivers a great ball. So while you don't see Dyami Brown winning right here, right? He put it out there because, you know, all right, so think about it this way. You know how, you know, for if you're a football guy or you're any type of thing, right? And you see something in the air, you're a receiver, tight end, defensive back, whatever, and you see it, and your coach always tells you to go get it, and that extra gear kicks in. This is where Carson Wentz putting the ball out in front of Dyami helps Dyami, because now you don't see him, again, right here, you don't see him stacking, but you see him getting in front of that cornerback. He's not able to keep up with that corner. I mean, the cornerback isn't able to keep up with Dyami Brown. So again, he's not winning right here. The cornerback is still in phase, but now he's getting stressed because Dyami is already, he ran past him. So point being, this is all Carson Wentz. You saw him check into the play. I don't know what he was running before. I don't know. But slot fade. And that safety, that middle safety, remember, don't forget this, because we're going to come right back to another situation just like this. So do not forget where that middle safety is. It's the same player too, by the way. So great ball, outside shoulder, and Dyami Brown is left-handed. So he had said that post game. So like, this wasn't as difficult of a catch as it looks. Like, if you're left-handed or right-handed, if you're a receiver, I do the same thing. I you know, I'm a dog, you know what I'm saying? Flag football, shouted Hall of Fame. It's like, I ain't Hall of Fame. But yeah, you see you see the left-handers, like certain things just make things easier for a player. So having that outside shoulder, that outside throw, where the ball placement is, perfect pass, perfect execution, perfect call from Wentz at the line of scrimmage to say, hey, this is the look that we're getting. I like this. Dyami gonna make a play. Dyami did it again. 2 catches, 100+ yards, 2 tutties, bro. I'm happy for Dyami Brown. And again, like I said, if y'all want to get a refresher on Dyami, y'all need to go ahead and take a look at the YouTube video. It's in I have a playlist, Washington Commanders film sessions, film breakdowns. It's right there. It'll be worth your time. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward to. Actually, we're gonna get right into the play that I told you about. All right, so here's the situation. Don't forget, told you, look at that single high safety, right? Look at that single high safety. 4th down, 4 yards to go. I don't remember what the score was at this time. I do know it was second half, obviously. Let me look it up, because we can go ahead and figure it out right now. But point is, like, when you paint that picture of context, what that does and what that shows you about, like, the players that are playing is, like, their mental competitiveness, right? Their mental toughness. Because this is where crunch time matters. Red zone, 4th down, 2 minutes to go in a half, 2 minutes to go in a second half or first half, 4-minute situations, right? You're trailing, right? All of these things matter. And I'm about to tell you exactly where it was. It was 4th and 4 with 9 minutes left. Tennessee is up 14-10. So these big things matter, man. What's going on, ladies? Good morning, good morning, good morning. All those things matter. It's what creates the situation. It's what creates the environment. So here you go. With all that being said, we'll press play and discuss after. All right, so you saw it. Now, again, look where that middle safety, that single high safety is. Look where he is, right? And let's go back to this one. Same setup, Carson. You get the same look. Now you got Cole, and you got Cole turn. Is he going? Look at where the safety is right now. Based on his depth, based on where he is, right? Is he gonna make? Look, based on his depth, based on where he is, this is later in the game. It is not later in the game. I'll take that back. This was before the 4th down. I mean, this was before the touchdown. But this is where I'm getting at. Like, based on the safety, based on the alignment, based on the depth, can he make this? Can he cover this ground against Cole Turner, who wins at the line of scrimmage? He can't cover it. You have to hit that. You have to hit that. Carson Wentz doesn't see it at all. And there you go. Incompletion, batted pass, I believe, as well. And it's a turnover on down. Washington should be talking about scoring 6. I would believe that Cole Turner could probably get the ball in the end zone here. Like, that defender couldn't even touch him. And that's the mismatch that I be talking about sometimes with Cole. I think that's the linebacker. I'm not too sure. But even if it's a cornerback, like, Cole Turner is a former receiver. He has the athleticism that Logan Thomas doesn't have. He has that quickness at the line of scrimmage, that shiftiness, and then he's 6'7", damn near 6'7", and then he can move a little bit. He's not that great with his speed, but he's quick and he can accelerate. And that's what the threat that he gets. Like, if you can get instant acceleration, instant quickness, you're a winner in this league. You have to hit that. Cover one situation is seen. You have the single high that's rotating over top of the 3x, what is that? 1, 2, 3. 3x3. Like, he's giving help over top. He ain't giving no help to Cole Turner. You got to hit that. So ultimately, like I said, when you think about these situations, these same situations, you got the single high who's not fast enough to cover that ground, right? And I guess later in the game, good adjustment because this is after that 4th down, right? But ultimately, when you look at the ground that he has to cover, it's impossible for him to get over there. So good adjustment later in the game, but you can't miss those opportunities altogether. And I think that's the part of the processing that people have issues with when it comes to Carson, is that, like, there's opportunities in which you can't miss that when you have these weapons. You have a Dyami Brown who executed on this one. You had a Cole Turner who would have executed on the boundary. He's one-on-one out there. Like, that's money. And I'm sure Cole Turner was pissed off because he had 3 targets. He ain't had no catches. And I heard somebody on Twitter talking about, hey, man, why everybody talking shit about Cole Turner because he came out with 0 catches in his debut? It's funny to me. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't pay it no mind, but it's like, when you see opportunities like this for Cole, can't miss him. Can't miss him. So sad, but yet we jumping on Ron for speaking facts.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
Listen, can't throw that man under the bus though. I personally, and all of us, right? It's like speaking. What's the word that I'm thinking of? Speaking the known out loud. Like, you don't want to speak what's known out loud type of shit. I don't know. I can't get the quote, but sometimes there's like certain things that you can't say out loud, especially in the position that Ron is in. But to your point, Ron is speaking facts, and he unintentionally set off a fucking firestorm. Calvin, what's going on, big dog? Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, trappers. Welcome in. If you are new to the Trapper Dive podcast, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All that good stuff, man. Appreciate y'all checking in. Hawk, look at you jumping the gun. Jimmy Graham.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
But nah. So listen, just to be clear too, I think they use them properly. Like before Cole Turner, they had Logan Thomas out there on the boundary. So look at the top of your screen at the 40. That's the boundary. The short side of the field, that's the boundary. Pro Tech, what's going on, big dog? Good morning. So when you look at the top of the screen and you look at the short side of the field, they had Logan Thomas out there throughout the rest of the season prior to week 5. And he is not stressing anybody. He doesn't have the quickness that Cole Turner has. He doesn't even have the moves that Cole Turner has. He's just going to run through you. And he ain't going to get no separation. So for this offense and how they're going to use Cole Turner, I love him in the situation that he's in right now. But I think that Carson Wentz is going to be in a position where he's going to have to understand and get to know Cole, but also get to know like how Scott Turner wants to use Cole. Because I believe personally, Cole can help this offense out in a big way. Like he can provide that versatility. John Bates can't do this. Armani Rogers, I don't think he could do this. He's too young in terms of the experience at tight end. Like he just started playing tight end. He doesn't really have that shiftiness yet. He doesn't really have those shake moves or anything like that to really understand how to create separation like that. He's an athlete, but he ain't really that person yet that has those separation skills. Like he gonna run through you too. He said Ron, I believe, was trying to motivate and let Wentz know this is your last week to succeed. I put it this way, maybe. I'm not gonna 757. I'm not going like that's your theory, so I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong or right. Everybody has their theories. My theory is that I just think he fucked up. I just think I don't think it was about quarterback. I don't think he was doing the Jamin Davis. Put it that way. I don't think he was pulling the Jamin Davis. And we know what that means, like heading into that game against Philly, or was it after the first game or something like that? I don't know. But I don't think they was pulling the Jamin Davis when it came to Carson Wentz. Let me move forward to the next play. We're going into the goal line series, everybody. So we went through Cole Turner, the missed opportunity. We went through the De'Ami Brown's touchdowns. Let's go ahead and start off first and goal. And then we're going to talk about the run game. And that'll wrap it up for the film session today. Okay. So this is first and goal. This is first and goal. Remember, we're going through this real time. I didn't have an opportunity to really go through everything. I know some people broke down film on this. My good man Mark Bullock did too, and obviously Logan Thomas. But I chose not to listen to it so I can be pure in what I'm seeing as well, and we can learn together. So let's go ahead and run through these plays. This is first and goal, and we'll talk about it. Boy, that thing almost got picked, didn't it? Let's see how close he was before we even get into it. How close was he from actually picking this off? Where was the ball in relation to where his feet could have been? Hey, that was inbounds. I mean, we know this, but looking at it, like just looking at it from the tape side, he was inbounds. Like, if he just knew where he was at on the field, the game is over. The game is over. Right here. On first down. The game is over, bruh. Let's go ahead and look into the play. All right, so one thing I did notice when it did start off is that the middle of the field ends up being open for Carson Wentz. And that's what really is bothersome here. So you'll see it as the play unfolds. Right now, that middle is open. And you see that tight end right there. But here's the thing too. Titans are playing good coverage for the most part, right? They're taking away everything from. So you got. Let me go from right to left. So we're talking about the top of the screen, and then we're going down. You got a bracket up top with your receiver. I don't know which receiver that is. Who is that? 10? Curtis Samuel. So you got a bracket up top, but he's also the guy underneath him also has eyes on J.D. McKissic, right? So even if he's to throw it to J.D. McKissic, he ain't getting in the end zone. Now you have who's that crossing now? Terry McLaurin at the bottom of your screen, right? Running a crosser or a drag, he gets rerouted, right? Now his route is off. And he's picked up with ease on the other side. But as they're passing off Terry McLaurin, you got your tight end. He gets rerouted. So your tight end is at the... Oh, I think that's Cam Sims I'm looking at. So, yeah, you got Cam Sims and John Bates. And John Bates gets rerouted. He gets knocked on his ass. But in the process of him getting rerouted, look where Carson Wentz is right now. If he doesn't have his eyes on, he has his eyes on the receiver in the back of the end zone. But Bates is open. Now, as we're talking about Bates now, I think the same thing that happens in certain situations for Carson Wentz, like taking sacks sometimes, I think people like emphasize, is it the offensive line or is it Carson Wentz? Or is it Scott Turner for dropping him back 7 steps or whatever? There's a variety of things that contributed to why he takes so many sacks. It could be the receivers sometimes. It could be your tight ends. It could be your running backs. Your running backs not giving the chip help when they need to. Your receivers not running the right route depth. Scott Turner talked about that. But also your receivers not recognizing where the zone voids are. So now let's get back to the tight end who's wide open that Carson Wentz isn't seeing. Why is he still running his route? He ran his route into the next zone. John Bates needs to sit right here. He needs to sit. He needs to sit. Now, granted, they got three right here. So you have your nose tackle, who Nick Martin is defending, and Sadiq Charles, who's also defending in a double. He's playing smart, right? So he's still playing the ball. He's not necessarily focused on getting to the quarterback. So the question is, can Carson Wentz get the ball over the tackle and hit John Bates? That's all he has to do, is get the ball over the tackle, and it's not going to be too hard. It's an easy pitch and catch if John Bates sits. Right here. That's a touchdown. But now you have Carson Wentz trying to get rid of the ball, right? And I don't even think he's looking to anybody anymore. Like, he stopped looking at, he's already looked like that's, he's already looking away. So these are the things. That's first down. First down almost picked, but he had a touchdown right here. Let's go ahead to second down. All right.
Hey, run that shit up, Trey.
All right. So this is as simple as like a cover 2 defense. And again, you know, the reason why they're able to do this is for several reasons. Don't forget that they had no timeouts. You have J.D. McKissic in the game. You're presenting no threat to really run the football. So when you present no threat to run the football, I see you 757. It ain't looking too good right now, huh? But when you present no threat to run the football, and you're running like a condensed formation right here, like, you're not even giving yourself opportunity on the boundary, or you're not even giving yourself an opportunity to spread this team out, spread this defense out. Like, everything's condensed, and they're keeping you inside. They're going to filter you in. So here we go. Look at the shell. Yes, it's cover 2, right? But look at the shell right now. The cornerbacks we're starting from right to left. So look at the top of your screen. The cornerback, first thing he's doing, staying outside. Stay outside leverage. Terry McLaurin, anything out for the safety, he's gonna break out and run with him. So see that corner again? That's right below Terry McLaurin. He's playing both the flat and he's playing Terry. So he has good depth. So you can't throw over top of that cornerback, right? But you can try to throw to Curtis Samuel, but he's gonna break on it. So that's dead. That right side of the field is dead, right? And now you have your 2 defensive linemen dropping into 2. Again, this is a strong cover 2 right across the board, all across the board. So now you move on to J.D. McKissic, right? Let's go ahead. JD's right here in the center. And then you got Cole Turner right over top of him. I don't even know what the hell, like there is no space here. I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what you're trying to get accomplished by having 3 routes towards the middle of the field, toward the middle of the end zone. This particular play call, you have yourself covered. You covered yourself. Like we have a curl, we have a mid curl, and then we have a breaking in route at the back of the end zone. I don't get it. I don't understand what we're doing on this play. So this one, you have Carson Wentz force it into J.D. McKissic, and it's a done deal. It's a done deal right here. So let's see if it was almost picked, because somebody said this was almost picked. Obviously, giving credit to the Titans as well. Like they were prepared. They played this whole thing smart. But I think Washington could have played their hands much more better. Trying to filter everything in the middle of the field like that. That was just not necessarily the best thing for them to do. So he just stuck a hand in there. I don't think it was actually. Yeah, they both stuck a hand in there. 93 and 98. That's just good defense right there. Not the best play call, and you could have put yourself in a better position to win. Protect. Outlaw. What's going on, big dog? Yes, sir. The 757 is in the house. We got 2 757s in there. Yes, sir. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to the Morning Trappers. All that good stuff, man. We're going through the film session, so we're focusing on right now. We're doing the Goal Line series live. I haven't had a chance. I'm looking at this real time, so everything is new to me. And prior to this, we did De'Ami Brown. We also did Carson Wentz on the 4th and 4, how he missed the opportunity, one in which was the same opportunity that he gave to De'Ami Brown on the 2nd touchdown. So right now, again, 2nd down, and then after this, we're going to go into the run game and why the run game failed miserably against these boys. Okay. Scott Turner got to be more creative. Our coaching staff and organization is outdated. Looks like somebody ran the wrong route. That is also possible. That's also possible. I think somebody could have ran the wrong route. This was very confusing. Either somebody ran the wrong route. I think somebody did. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because there's no way you should have like a curl levels. And it may have been, who is that? John Bates? It may have been John Bates who ran the wrong route. Like maybe John Bates was supposed to carry over. Like it just makes no sense for nobody to occupy the left side of the end zone. I don't get it. Let's see. And there was like this. It's looking like it's a slight window right here for Dax Milne. Like maybe, I don't know. I doubt it. I'm over here guessing. I don't think it was a slight window for Dax Milne. Let's look at the other angle and see if we can see it. Yeah, 51 was in that window. So nah, nobody was open here. Carson Wentz forced it. It is what it is. Okay. He had to get rid of that ball regardless. Clock was ticking. Yeah, on this one, clock was ticking. This one would have probably been a safe bet to throw it away. Like, you can't force this one. If it's dead, it's dead. Can't force this one. Wentz was panicking. Wish he had more patience on that first down. Yes, sir. I wish he did too. All right, so let's get to that third down. That damn interception. That interception. Let me run that back one more time. All right, fuck all that. We don't need to see the return. So first thing first, I don't know if you all saw what's his name? Coach Brown, JB on Twitter. He's the former coach that was on Last Chance U with all that cussing and shit. Oh, my bad, Alex. I forgot you in here, bro. My bad for the language. My bad, bro. So we're gonna talk about that 757. A lot of people have been saying that. Short answer, we'll talk about it, but short answer is you can't. I don't think I'm running it until fourth down. And I would bet that Scott Turner probably would have presented a run option for fourth down, but we'll talk about it. All right, so here's the thing. You have two eligible receivers on the left side of your offense, right? You got your running back, you got your receiver, Terry McLaurin. You have three defenders covering two receivers. You're losing automatically on this side. Just off the strength of numbers. Right? But you have three receivers on the top of you all screen, the right side of the offense. You have, who was that? John Bates, I believe. Cam Sims, and then what looks like De'Ami Brown. Can't tell by the numbers. I wasn't even paying attention when I pulled these plays up. But I do see Cam Sims because he got dreads, and I know dreadlocks. But you have 3 and 3, right? You got 3 receivers, you got 3 defensive backs. So you got a 3-by-2 look where your numbers is better on the right side of the offense. So let's go ahead and start there. And let's go ahead and start with what went wrong on the left side of the offense. He said keep it professional. Yeah, I got you, bro. All right, so you got let's start on the left side and then work our way to the right side of the offense. First thing first, Terry gets rerouted by 51. He's out of the play. He's done. Terry gets rerouted. He's out of the play. Like ain't no more Terry route. The goal on the left side, depending on if they ran man, was to run an angle route or the Texas, right? And essentially, if it was man coverage in a way, or in a sense, that angle route should get cleared up. Or if that zone carries, right, and the 51 takes on Terry McLaurin, and that zone carries, there's going to be space created. And in theory, that pass should be available. Now, the cornerback does a good job. Now, we're assuming, by the way, in the midst of this conversation, we're assuming that J.D. McKissic catches the ball. All right. The corner does a good job breaking on the play, right? He made a play. The question is, does J.D. McKissic even get in the end zone? I don't think he gets in the end zone because of where that ball would land. So now you're at that 1-inch line on the tackle. And what? It's let's go to it. It was 13 seconds left at the snap. So who knows? Maybe you QB sneak it at that point. But who knows? Game is over right there, right? So now we're doing the other side of the offense. The left side was dead. You had no numbers there. It was 3-on-2. Good job by 51 rerouting Terry. He took Terry completely out of the play. And then the same thing was going to happen. You see it right there. Look at the middle of the field. Don't even worry about J.D. McKissic. Terry's route was done. He got rerouted one time, and then he was about to get rerouted again by a defensive lineman, number 93. He had a hell of a day, by the way. Terry. I'm never going to forget his name. He's a dog. He's also about to be a free agent coming up. Whoever wants him in the run game, they need to get him because he dominated. But yeah, so Terry was done. He was going to get rerouted twice again. Route is over. Now let's go to the top side of the screen where you have 3-on-3 instead of 3-on-2. Now you see that, right? I'm not necessarily, so I think if anything, I don't know. All right, so here's what I'm thinking, because I know I'm not necessarily being specific. So what I'm looking at is Cam Sims right now. Cam Sims is going towards the middle of the field. And you got Curtis Samuel or De'Ami Brown, whoever that is, not John Bates. He's going to the flats. He's occupying that cornerback. But you also have Cam Sims and whoever that receiver is running the same route. The same whip route. Your chances is probably better going to Cam Sims here. The ball is already out, so what's influencing these cornerbacks, like if you're looking and you're saying that this cornerback who's on that receiver, whoever Cam Sims is covering or whatever, whoever is covering that other receiver opposite of Cam Sims, whoever that is, I don't know, his eyes are on the ball right now. So in theory, if the ball is not released, he's still staying on his man. So what that means is you have an opportunity for Cam Sims in the middle of the field. Play calling altogether is questionable, right? But I'm talking about within the structure of this play, you have no business going to the left side of the field. When your opportunity exists on a linebacker, you have Cam Sims on a linebacker. That's where my opportunity is. That's where I'm taking the opportunity. Because you got to try and force it somehow. Again, same thing with that line, that one defender underneath of Cam. Like if you're asking, look towards the front of the end zone, in between Cam and the other receiver, that guy who's pointing. Like you may be asking, he may be in the way of the pass, but again, in theory, if you're looking to your right and the ball is not out of Carson Wentz's hands yet, he's probably not over here looking at the other play. He's probably not even in the way. So you have an opportunity to one of those two receivers, in my opinion, within the structure of this play. But again, I'm a little upset because all three plays, they had nobody occupy the left side of the end zone. For what? There's no isolation over there. There's no one-on-one situations over there. There is no action on the left side of the end zone, and I don't get it. I do not understand that. So ultimately, interception, game over. I knew something was up after that first play, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some told me it may not be as easy as I thought. It may not be as easy as I thought. Let's look at the other angle right quick. Now, obviously, as you can see, they did a really good job. The Titans did, just making sure that their defensive linemen is clogging the middle of the field. So they had 3 in coverage. They had 8 in coverage at times. They had 9 in coverage at times on those 2 downs. Picked off. Good play made by 51. Respect to him. But yeah, I think this was a whole processing thing. You should have worked that 3x2 side. Those are your numbers right there. Like that's all you need to know. Those are your numbers. Okay. So let's go ahead and go through some of the comments. Yeah, wish he was more patient on first down. That's where the opportunity was. I think that could have been a touchdown. Why is Dax Milne even out there though? Cam Sims back in the end zone. I don't know why Dax Milne was out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. That one befuddles me. I have no idea. Heck, I would panic too if I didn't get any protection. All right, now JB, he had time on all 3 of those. He had time on all 3 of those plays. Obviously, I mean, when you're only rushing 2 and only rushing 3 at times, there should be no reason why somebody penetrates the backfield. But I get you. I'm wondering why they didn't try to run it. All right, so that's the conversation that we're going to talk about right now. Y'all got to remember, there was a couple things that happened. And Ron Rivera noted it in a interview with JP Finley. Yeah, that they didn't have timeouts. And that really hurt him at the goal line, specifically because of that challenge that he called. He even said in the interview with JP, I didn't even give myself time to look at a replay. I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to throw a challenge flag like I did against Philly. So I threw the challenge flag, and I wish I didn't do it. That is not his quotes verbatim, but that is what he said. You got to remember, they didn't have any timeouts going in there. So with 18 seconds left on 1st and goal at the 10. I mean, at the 10. At Tennessee's 2. You can try to run it. It's not impossible to try to run it. But in theory, are you going to call 2 plays in the huddle? Are you going to assume that if you don't get it, you got to spike it? Like, at the end of the day, I don't think you're even going to make it to 4th down. So there's 2 things. I don't think you're going to make it to 4th down, or you're going to lose it down trying to run the football if you don't get it. And that's kind of where I'm at on that side. Like, it's hard if you don't have any timeouts, man. And I'm on the side of give me 4 opportunities to get in the end zone versus 2 or 3. I can't run it with no timeouts, man. And sure, like in hindsight, when you see the defenders dropping off the way they did, sure, you can try and get at the J.D. McKissic. You can try and give a draw or delayed handoff, and do it that way. There's things that you can try, but I don't know if I can risk it until 4th down. Because now 4th down, they got to play you more honest. They can't just assume that you're gonna pass it. And that's kind of where I'm at. Outlaw. Play would have worked, but DTs were in coverage. Again, Scott Turner outcoached. He never even hinted at the run. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, Brian Robinson could have worked in that situation. You could have put Brian Robinson out there. You could have put Antonio Gibson out there. Terrible play calls. 50-50 blame Wentz and Turner. They both need to be shipped off. Wentz needed to roll out on that play and let some create. Hey, but listen though, 757, you're not wrong. Like, one of the opportunities that you have in this, actually, let me be clear. When you're limited on time, that can be problematic, right? But one of the ways in which, when you have so many people in coverage, you got to have a coverage breakdown. And in order to have a coverage breakdown, the quarterback needs to extend plays and influence zones. Like, you got to see who's going to mess up. Which one of these people? I almost cussed Alex. Which one of these people is going to mess up? Because that's who I'm about to pick on. Y'all better not mess up where I'm looking, because I'm gonna hit this van that's right behind you, or to the left of you, or to the right of you. So in a sense, you're right, but I don't know if he would have been able to do that with 13 seconds left. Wait, was it 13? No, it started at 18 seconds. 18 seconds. Responsibility falls on Scott Turner. He said, I'm in the same boat. 2 of those play calls, all 3 of those play calls didn't occupy the left side of the field. Like, none of those occupied the left side of the field, and I don't know why. And then you had, if you go back to that first one, you got John Bates right here in the middle of the field, who could have had an opportunity if he just sat down. Even still, Carson Wentz wasn't looking his way. So, does it matter? So there was a couple things that went wrong from Carson Wentz, Scott Turner, and then obviously John Bates, who could have gave himself the game-winning touchdown opportunity right there. Thing opened up like the Red Sea. I would have threw that. I'd have zipped that joint in there. My little noodle arm ass would have threw that joint right there.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
I understand Wentz throwing a quick... Dakota, relax, bro. I understand Wentz throwing a quick read because he wants every down. There just wasn't a read because the plays were so poor. I didn't even need a run, but at least fake the handoff to make the front coverage to hesitate. Big Simp, what's going on, big dog? We lit trying to get a W tomorrow. Hey, man. Good morning to all the morning trappers. Look, we got to try to get a dub. I'm not going to lie to y'all. For those who listen to the podcast, I'll be dead serious. Like, I'm frustrated with this team, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that a win isn't going to, like, a win helps. And I think it is time to move on from Ron Rivera and his staff. But a win helps the season go a little bit smoother. Winning helps the seasons or the season go by a little bit more smoother. So trust me, I want a dub against Chicago. I do want a dub against Chicago. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. with you, all these fans talking about tanking are not Commanders fans. I don't think we're that good. Hey, and that's another thing. Like, it's impossible for us to tank. We're not good. We can do that without trying. The Commanders can do that without trying, shawty. Oh my God. All right, so there goes the red zone, man. Let's go ahead and get into the run game. Now, I asked the question before everybody got in here. Appreciate y'all checking in right now. If you are new or if you just joined, then make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All that good stuff, man. I truly appreciate everybody. But I asked the question when we got in. I said, the run game. Would you have ran? This is not the red zone thing. This is throughout the game. Would you have ran the ball more? And do you believe that Washington could have established anything on the ground the way they were playing? I answered and I said the way that they were playing. If I didn't answer, I don't know. But I said the way that they were playing and then the way that Tennessee dominated at the line of scrimmage, I can see why Scott Turner was convinced himself that it was probably better to pass it today versus not passing at all or trying to be more balanced. The offensive line for Washington was getting their ass whooped. But not only were they getting their ass whooped, they had several missed assignments or missed opportunities or they just were out executed. So those are some things. He said never give up. Okay. This kind of that loss hurt like hell, but we need a W. If anything, it starts with the Bears. All right, let's go ahead and get into the run game, and then we're good on our side. He said, "Here's the thing, I don't like. We start out the season slow and we win a few games, but why can't they win games at the beginning of the season?" Well, I can tell you why. I can tell you why. There's a few things, man. Like people, like we win a few games. I think that's an accurate assessment. Like we win a few games, and also like that's the mantra of Ron Rivera. But for you to consistently start out slow is also a mantra of Ron Rivera. That's not the makings of a good coach. Flat out. You had 3 seasons in which you had winning seasons in Carolina. And those 3, obviously they 12-4, 15-1, I think 11-5, or maybe 12-4 twice. Like you had some good seasons in Washington. I mean in Carolina, but outside of that, you're always losing. You're always losing, bro. So it's not necessarily a thing that you should be counting on in terms of like us turning things around. Like this one is a little different. Like you got to see if Ron Rivera can have some respectable games down the stretch, because we don't know. All right, here we go. Starting with the run game. Oh Lord, is it the first one? Okay. All right, here we go.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
Hey, 93. He is that guy. That boy is a dog. I'm telling you. So where's what we got? What it looked like to be a simple inside zone. What starts off this whole thing is you have the one tech, right? He's beside Nick Martin, the center, and Sadiq Charles, the right guard. All right, so here is what we got from a player standpoint. He has 93. We're going to break down 93. And some of the best ways to see how like if you're looking at your favorite team, the Commanders, right? The best way to see how effective the person they're going up against is to look at the defender and vice versa. Like if Washington's on defense, look at the other person. Are they stressed? Are they struggling? How effective is that person dominating or being dominated? Like how, all those things. Like look at the defender. So for me, you're looking at Tart, right? Look at his leverage. That man is controlling two different people right now. Martin and Charles. Nick Martin is trying to allow Saahdiq Charles to take over this block and move forward to 53. He's trying to climb. But look what's going on. He's winning with leverage. He's controlling both offensive linemen with two different hands. He's controlling both offensive linemen with two different hands, and he has eyes on Brian Robinson. Now we're looking at look at the effectiveness. Like, you'll see Nick Martin and you'll see Saahdiq Charles, right? Look at them at this point when he sheds them and he rips. They both go down. They both go down. That's what we saw. If you all were here for the film sessions throughout the preseason, that's what you saw from Phil Bathis. That man is controlling both of these guys, bro, with two different hands, independent hand usage, bro. Controlling these guys. And what it does, though, because I know I'm going back and forth here, right? But what it does, though, ultimately is keep that linebacker 51 clean. So 51 and 53 have both their gaps under control. And all he's doing, 51, is he's off the back or off the butt of 93. So there you go. He's in the gap. He ain't going nowhere. Meet my guy in the hole. Boom. Shed. Make the tackle. 2-3 yards. And look at 93 celebrate. Hey, he did that. That's a play. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Y'all gonna fall in love with 93. If y'all a fan of just film and players, y'all gonna fall in love with 93. That boy is a dog. But not only was it 93 who disrupted this play, outside of that, you have 98 Simmons, I believe, on Andrew Norwell, right? So he has control on his inside. Norwell doesn't have that much leverage right here, right? And Simmons is turning Norwell out. He's turning Norwell out of his gap. And he's able to get some penetration on the backfield. But then you have Cornelius Lucas on your left side. It would be your left side of your screen against Autry.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
Look where Autry's hands are. Right up here. He's in control. All he has to do at this point is find the football. And he got eyes on the running back right now. Shit, get off me. I'm gonna make a play. So you're seeing on the first play how the Titans are controlling at the line of scrimmage, how they're winning at the line of scrimmage. And we're going to keep pushing and keep moving forward because there's going to be other examples of how the defense played well, but also how some issues happened from an execution standpoint too. Another play with Tart. So now we're looking at the one tech, right? So that's between Nick Martin and Saahdiq Charles, the right side of the offense.
Hey, run that shit up.
Go ahead, run it. All right. So this was a 5-yard carry, I believe. And they're doing a version, I think this is, let me see. Yeah, I think like a pin pull type of thing. Obviously power in a sense, but like a pin pull play. So you have Saahdiq Charles doing a down block, essentially. And then I think Norwell is just, who is that? No, that's Nick Martin kicking out. So you got two down blocks, and right now Saahdiq Charles won off the line. He was able to get his guy out of his gap, right? But Tart recovers, and you know how he recovers? Look at that 1 sec on Saahdiq. Here's how he recovers. Look where his elbow is. He's using Nick Martin as leverage because Nick Martin and Leno aren't able to get any push. I mean, they're sealing, right? You don't necessarily have to get pushed, but you gotta make sure that there's, I don't know. I don't have a huge issue with Nick Martin not being able to get push off this. But ultimately you see that elbow helps him reestablish his leverage and get back into play. So in theory, if Nick Martin and his guy wasn't there, Saahdiq Charles could probably win his rep. But Like he has some awareness to use that elbow, reestablish his leverage, fight back into the play, and boom, and get a stop right here. Overall, you have some opportunity if you can get past this and maneuver past this on the second level. You probably can get like a good 7, 8, maybe even 10 yards right here. But Tartt fights back in, competes, gets back into play, and is able to win ultimately. Okay. Keep it pushing. Split on Norwell block. Is this the one? Nah. It's not in alphabetical order. I should have known. Oh, I know what to do. Give me 2 seconds. We are going to change this thing up. Details. Boom. Okay. Okay. I should have did it this way. All right. Another rep. All right. Try one more time. Hold on, wait. What in the world? Is this the same play?
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
Okay. Here we go. All right. So, sometimes, by the way, this is what like trying to figure out, exactly what everything is looking like. You gotta look at this stuff like 7, 8 different times just to remember the picture or even understand what's going on. But this is what looks like seems to be a power or like a pin pull type of thing. Again, you have, I'm gonna just go left to right. You got Lucas helping. Who was that? 93 Tartt. Lucas is helping fit Tartt or help Charles fit Tartt. So he just pushes him for a bit just to clear out that gap. And he's about to climb to the next level in 53. He's able to do that, right? Now you have your tight end who's coming in the field, which looks like Cole Turner, I believe, if not John Bates. I think it's 7. I see it 87. So that's probably John Bates. He's about to climb. But now you have a guy who really isn't able to move 93, right? Same thing with Sadiq Charles, able to fight back over, uses that elbow. No, actually, he doesn't even use the elbow. It's Justin Simmons, who is 98, right? He's able to still make that block with Nick Martin. And because he's able to pinch, essentially, and not get moved off his ground, he's able to help his teammate out, essentially, and they both fight back to get back in it. So all I'm saying right here, you're not controlling the line of scrimmage. All of these things, I'm getting into the details of everything, but you're not controlling the line of scrimmage. These guys are holding up at the point of attack. They're still making your blocks, right? They're defeating combos, and I'm not even done yet. It's not even just the fact that that's happening. There's even more that's going on that we're going to tap into, and that's going to be a little bit more frustrating because there's a variety of things that's going on in both power and zone blocking that is hurting these guys. And obviously, they're going up against a good run defense. So there's a ton of things going on, but that's what you see right here. Look at 98, look at 93. And obviously, everybody's playing their gaps well as well for Tennessee. And then you also have Cam Sims. Receiver and blocking is just as important. Cam Sims knows his blocking assignment, but is he able to get him? And he's able to get in good positioning. And he wasn't able to do that. So there was a ton of things going on there. They played it well in that box. I appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you. He said this game was a manifestation of why I say receiver is the most overrated position in sports. As good as Dotson is, should have dropped. Nah, I ain't drafting no guard in the first round, kid. Hey, appreciate you checking in too. I don't know if I said good morning to you earlier. I don't think we should have gotten no guard in no first round. First off, that would have lit the whole Commanders fan base on fire. But I do think, I have said it, so don't take me as saying we ain't need no guard or no offensive lineman. I always thought that offensive line was an underrated need for this team. I said that during the draft, but first round I wouldn't have went that route. I wouldn't have went that route first round. All right, here we go. This is the same one. Okay. So this is a fumbled snap here, right? But you show this because it's within the structure of the run. This was supposed to be a zone, right? Fumbled snap. Don't forget that. So it doesn't even matter. But you can't ignore what they were doing at the line because the offensive line doesn't know that it's a fumble. They're still blocking. The defensive line is still blocking. So this is still a situation to evaluate the offensive line and defensive line. Now look from left to right, and then we'll talk about, you know, the bad snap from Martin. So left to right, you got Denico Autry, you got Justin Simmons, I believe, and then you have 93, my boy Tart. So Denico Autry is able, look where his hands are. Got that long arm. He has good leverage right here. Standing tall. That boy Cornelius Lucas is standing tall. But he's able to seal the edge, right? But then you have Saahdiq Charles, who is asked to reach Justin Simmons, reach block. Or this looks more like a base. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know. I'm not used to Saahdiq Charles' technique. This is his first game starting. This is my first time really like looking through at his tape. So I'm gonna assume that he was supposed to be reach blocking. I'm assuming that. But ultimately, point is, look at the effect that 98 has on Saahdiq.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
Right? I just think that's overall poor placement, poor hat placement, right? You're not supposed to, I don't think you're supposed to be in that position head up. I think you're supposed to ensure that thing on reach blocks, your helmet is to the play side gap. And his helmet isn't on the play side gap. It's on, I think they're helmet to helmet, but also he leans a little bit more to the left versus where the right is. So he's leaning to
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
his left. I'm trying to do the math here because it's the inverse, where his helmet is supposed to be on his right. All right. So now you have Simmons with the long arm as well. Essentially, like throws Saahdiq Charles out of the club. Like he's out. And then you have 93. Same thing, good technique, long arm. Got vision on the running back. So my point is, with all of this, we're not focusing on the fumble right now. We're focusing on the structure of the run. He has nowhere to go. And mind you, the linebackers are clean. You got 51 clean. So he has anything right here in that gap. You see where Norwell is and Charles Leno. He's crashing. Another win up front. This is despite the fact that they fumbled, right? Hold on. We ain't doing that, man. Oh, y'all. First off, y'all gonna understand Cosme is one of the best offensive linemen that they got. Y'all can't do that. And my bad, Rich, if I ain't say nothing to you, good morning. Cosme is one of the best offensive linemen that they got. And I think what's also not fair, because I wasn't here last week. But what's not fair to Cosme is that a lot of people don't understand like the nuance of offensive line play. Like you're playing 100% of the offensive snaps, and people are looking at like they look at sacks and determine value. Like they, my bad, coffee. You know what I'm saying? But they're looking at sacks and they determine how valuable an offensive lineman is. Carson Wentz and Scott Turner, I'm not even gonna put Turner under that boat. But you got to factor in the several variables that comes into place with pass protection. And also, you got to understand that, you know, sometimes Cosme is actually doing his job and Wentz is not helping his offensive lineman out. Like there has been several times this year that Carson Wentz has taken a sack, and it was Sam Cosme has gave up the sack. But if you look at it, the ball is either supposed to be out, or he's supposed to step up in the pocket, or he has no pocket awareness and he runs right into the sack. But my point is, people are so hyper focused on like the variable that they can see, and then say that somebody isn't really good or not. But Cosme held up well. He battled against Micah Parsons. Ain't nobody giving him credit. I was the one giving that man credit last week. I was probably the only one giving him credit last week by how he battled against Micah Parsons. He didn't look terrible. He competed. He had some wins, and I still got the clips. He had some wins. Everyone's saying sign Flowers. I'm thinking like there must be something else happening. No way is signing him, and we must have burned the bridge with him. That's also a good point. The last part, it could be very much so that he ain't trying to come back to Washington. A lot of people aren't thinking about that. Y'all gotta remember they did that man dirty after they signed Wentz. They cut Flowers because they ain't had the money no more. And don't forget, Ron Rivera had conversations with some agents. I don't remember exactly who. I want to say it's Matt Ioannidis. They asked Ron Rivera, is my guy safe? They told that man yes. And lo and behold, they cut like 3 people. So Flowers may not have much respect for this front office. Front office and coaching, like people expect. Like they keep talking about Flowers. He may not want to come back here. Okay, let's keep it pushing. But it also is interesting though, because he's not with another team right now. So who knows? Okay. Keep going. Yes, by the way, 757. Out coach. It is what it is. Oh, that part too. Would you come back for a third time? He came back 2 different times. And one of them was out of his control. He got traded. We traded him. We traded back for him, I believe. All right, so here we go.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
Now this one was a little weird, right? Let's go ahead and run it back. So what you're seeing here is a zone run. Typically in zone run, you got combination blocks. But in your combination blocks, you're supposed to, especially if you're uncovered, like Charles Leno is, you're supposed to climb to the next level based on what you're seeing. So at the snap right here, you have Wes Martin and Charles Leno uncovered. Andrew Norwell is responsible for taking on 97, which I believe is Kevin. What's that man's name? It don't even matter. 97. Now, I don't know if this is a holding or not right here. I can't tell you. I don't know. But what I will say is, shout out to the people who try to cheat. Because if you ain't cheating, you are not trying. You are not trying at all. So what you're saying right now is he's hooking Andrew Norwell, but he's also leveraging both gaps. So it's like he already won with good penetration. So it's never mind the fact that he's holding Andrew Norwell. He's already split the gap. He's penetrating in the backfield right now. But he's not allowing Norwell to climb. He's not allowing Norwell to seal him off. So while there's opportunity to move on to the next level, these linebackers come in clean again. Charles Leno sees that Norwell is stressed out, so he tries to seal off 97. So now there's no second level help. 51 and 53 just crashing, and then boom, done deal. So I don't know. I have no idea if this was a hold or not. I'm not gonna lie to you. He hooked him, but was it a hold? Who knows? I just know that they made another good play. Like Norwell couldn't do anything, but it also doesn't help. Like he had a strong get off. 97 did, and that went unaccounted for. And maybe Norwell thought that 97, who's kind of shaded to his inside, so like somewhat of a one tech. He probably thought that he was going to try and hit that A gap, but he didn't. So there you go. That's what's going on again. There are several things that's going on. It's not just the fact that Scott Turner wasn't calling enough runs. It's the fact that when you look at these run plays, and we ain't done yet, there's several other instances. But when you look at these run plays, they are getting beat at the line of scrimmage. They are getting out executed, and they are and the Titans are winning at the point of attack. Okay. So D. Charles, Another rep. So let's go ahead and is this my boy again? Let me take a look. Let me make sure. Oh, 97. That's strong again. Okay, so here we go. Sadiq Charles. This is a kick out. And essentially on this kick out on power. Again, remember when I talked about hat placement, right? On that zone run where he lost to Justin Simmons. Now he's responsible for a kick out block, Sadiq Charles. Terrible attempt. That's bad hat placement. Again, he's supposed to be play side. He's not play side with his helmet. But also, as he's pulling, not running with much force, it's like he doesn't know who his blocking assignment is just yet because he maybe doesn't see him or something. I don't know. I don't know why he approaches the defender like that, but it looks like he also may be timing like where he wants to put his helmet. Like he's probably thinking too much. But ultimately, he doesn't affect the player. He doesn't kick him back or anything, right? He's able to get off it relatively easy and get in on the play. But not even that. It's not done yet. It's not the only reason why the play went wrong. It is the main reason, I believe, why the play went wrong. But then you have Charles Leno trying to down block, right? Who is that? 97, that's strong. So remember what I mentioned, how what's that dude name? Tate, whatever his name is, 93, how he was able to leverage himself when he was losing on the down block to Sadiq Charles. He was able to leverage himself on Nick Martin's back so he can regain the leverage and fight back into the play. 97 is doing the same thing. And what I'm noticing, I don't know if it's an NFL wide thing or it may be specific coaches who can coach this point. But when you feel yourself losing that leverage, find a way to get back into the game. Find a way to get back into the play. Look where his elbow is. Charles Leno is trying to down block him, but Norwell isn't really getting that much push either. So it's a lot of things going on here. And if Leno is able to down block and continue pushing 97 towards the middle of the field, you're talking about probably a better run. Obviously, Sadiq Charles has to, he has to hit too. And maybe you're talking about a team that's having like a 7-8 yard carry on this one. But instead, you got people losing at the point of attack. That's Sadiq Charles. Andrew Norwell isn't getting any push. Charles Leno is, but in the sense of which 97 is able to maintain and stalemate, he's able to get himself back into the play. There's several things that's going on here. Who drafted Sadiq? Hey, I'm serious. I don't know. Was that in 2019? But listen, I don't want y'all to. When did he come out? That was 2020. Was that 2020? Can't see. Oh yeah, 2020. Yeah. That boy Ron though. Ron did that. Okay, here we go. Let's catch up on some of the comments. Titans dominated our offensive line in the run game. Yes, Duran. Good morning. Checking in. Good morning, Al2. Appreciate everybody checking in. Oh Lord, come on, man. Oh, I didn't even mean to put that on. Come on, man. I didn't even mean. I'm just showing the comments, showing everybody some love. Oh Lord. Rivera, Everett, trade Silverback, let Sheriff walk, let Flowers walk. That's 3 first-round picks and replace them with bums. That is all the truth. Charles was drafted in 20, so I think it was Smith. But Charles is what he is, a 4th-round backup lineman. Oh, that's what I meant to say. I don't want everybody to... Somebody called him Paddle Boat the other day. Paddle Boat Ron. But listen, I don't want everybody to like complete. This is Charles' first start, and he's going up against a really. I'm not lying. Like this defensive line they're some dogs. They're averaging like it's not just Washington. Go ahead and look at the numbers over the last 3 games for the Tennessee Titans, and even those first 2 games were kind of fluke because Saquon broke off like 2 big runs, in the first game. but they're only giving up 35 yards per game over the last 3 games. That includes going up against Jonathan Taylor. So when I'm showing you what's going on, obviously this is important in terms of player evaluation, but you got to understand who they're going up against too. These are some dogs. So that can kind of tell you like the type of success they can or can't have against better coached defensive linemen, but also better skilled offensive linemen. Better skilled defensive linemen too. But you're going up against a team who's averaging 35 yards a game on the ground defensively. They ain't giving up much. They got some dogs up there.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
No, man. No. I got to. I'm being honest. If I'm not objective, bro, with this film stuff, we're going to draw conclusions off of plays all the time. Now, it is safe to draw conclusions on Carson Wentz, right? And it is safe to draw conclusions on Scott Turner. Because you see the structure of the plays, but you also see how it's being executed by the quarterback. Like, that's something that you can draw conclusions on. But I ain't going to draw conclusions yet on Saahdiq Charles, who really only been coming in on spot duties. This is his first start. I'm interested to seeing how he plays against Chicago. Let's move forward to the next couple ones that we have, and then it's a wrap for us. But it's really important just to show the structure, because when you ask, or when we all ask, should Scott Turner have ran the ball more, we got to look and see how this offensive line played, but also project on how good they can play together on the next set of games and things like that. So this one is going to hurt. This is the duo run. All right. Hey, you saw that, man. Wipe his nose, boy. That junk. 51 had himself a little day. All right. So here we go. This is just a traditional duo run. It is what it is. So essentially in a duo, for those who don't know, it's double teams all across the board, right? And it's a read-based type of run for your running back, because if it's double teams all across the board, this one you're gonna have a linebacker come free, and it's on you to pick the right hole or influence the linebacker, get him out of the hole that you intend to go to or whatever. So it's okay to see that linebacker come free, but here's the other issues that take place. We're going to go again from left to right, start with the tight ends. If it's double teams all across the board, right? Sorry, Alex. WTF happened on this left side? Let's go ahead. There you go. You got big on the right side, right? Cornelius Lucas, big on big. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to do. You got Saahdiq Charles, and we're going to talk about this one because this is a problem. Saahdiq Charles and Nick Martin doubling. You got Andrew Norwell, Charles Leno doubling. And then you got WTF between the tight ends. John Bates completely whiffed on the block. Help Cole Turner fit this block. He didn't do anything. They played this terribly. I don't know what John Bates was thinking, but he said, I didn't want any smoke. Like, look, like where his feet are just, come on. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's right here. Like, this is exactly what's going, it's the problem. The technique, his run fit, his competitiveness, like, he didn't want any smoke right here. You can tell, like, I don't get it. And there's nothing that he can say that except for I just messed up. So that's what happens on the left side. I have no issue with 72 and 68. They did that fine. Andrew Norwell he does a good job with his double teams. I don't trust him on the second level or anything in space. He doesn't move that well. But 72, 68, perfectly fine. But and then also on top of that, what helps when you have a good double team like that, now at this point, at this very angle right here, you have 68 who has eyes on the second level. So if 53 was to come down, now you got an opportunity to bust this run wide open, right? So now you see the running back make a decision, right? And again, remember what I said, it's a read base. So that linebacker, there is going to be a linebacker or the Mike maybe that comes free. That's perfectly fine. So now he tries to bounce it outside, but what happens? Look at, now we get to Sadiq Charles and Nick Martin. 93 again. My boy. 93, who was a problem. Penetrates right there. That slice. Trying to split that and get into that gap. Sadiq Charles tries to fit him. Nick Martin tries to fit him, but he gives up some penetration. He causes disruption, and he disrupts the double team, like the fit. Like, that's not a good double team right here. But he's also, Sadiq Charles is turning that man inside into the gap. But what it does, though, remember what I mentioned about Andrew Norwell. He's in very good position to have eyes on the next level, right? He's able to climb if he has to. And you'll see him in the end, what happens. But now you see Sadiq Charles and Nick Martin, they are not in the same position. But now you see Norwell at the very last second, right? Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and back up a little bit. You see Nick Martin at the very last second try to get back to that linebacker. He's out of position. But you see Norwell too, right? He's in perfect position. So you kind of see on both sides like how the double team is supposed to work. Leno, Norwell, perfectly fine. Martin, Charles can't handle 93. They couldn't handle 93 all day. So now you have Brian Robinson making a right read, trying to bounce it outside, but the double team block was so bad, and Nick Martin tries to save himself. No game. Again, dominated at the line of scrimmage. I just want to be a fly on the wall in April when Rivera suggested replacing Sheriff for Flowers with Norwell and Turner. It may well give any scout give a funny look. Man, you know, Ron Rivera, you know, he used that scouting report from 6 years ago. Said it don't even matter. I rule this. I don't care what y'all got to say. He said, why is Ron always patchwork on the O-line of DBs? Never feels like we're building there, just cutting talent for his guys. Coach, your teams are bombs. No one in the org is allowed to tell Rock Bottom that, though. D-Mitch says all the time that Ron ain't bringing nobody on board with an opinion. He bringing all his guys in that he trusts. For better or for worse, boy, this coffee got cold. All right, so we got a couple more, and then we're done. But as you all are watching this, like, I have my opinion, and film is all based on like what you see, how you seeing it, and your opinion. Don't ever like. I'm saying this because I'm about to ask you all a question. Everybody that's in the chat. Don't ever think that you have like the answer 100%. I would never assume that, and then I would never like want to tell you all that I know 100% what's going on. It's all my opinion based on what my understanding is. But I say all that to say, what is your opinion about the run game? What is your opinion about the offense to this point in the season? Obviously we have some obvious answers, but based on what you're seeing, what are your opinions of the run game? What is your opinion on the offense? Can they get things turned around against the Bears? I think I know the answer there. My answer is I think that they can. I think that they won't be going up against a front as dominant as the Titans. And also just an overall defense that's pretty young. But, you know, like AJ said yesterday, every single week there's some type of obstacle. And this week, Carson Wentz is going up against Eberflus, who knows him pretty well from their time in Indianapolis. Let me go ahead and get into the last couple ones. Okay. Now this one was, yeah, you see it. You see it. All right. Okay. So the reason why I had the sky angle, or the angle right here for this one is because I wanted to give perspective on how effective, I think this was 93 again, how effective he was in why Brian Robinson couldn't see what he sees. So the ball is at like the 47-yard line of Tennessee. Look how far Andrew Norwell gets driven off the ball. If Cole Turner wasn't there, Andrew Norwell is getting driven back to like the 50-yard line. That is 5 yards of penetration. He's playing too high, first and foremost. Like, it is what it is. He's playing too high, bro. He's getting driven back. He has no control of the block. Absolutely no control of the block. So now let's get to the end zone copy. So now here's what you see. In theory, this play has potential. If Norwell, again, in theory, Norwell is able to, it's my boy 93, by the way. I'm telling y'all about that, man. 93 is a dog. But if he's able to at least sustain at the line of scrimmage in this split zone look, you'll probably have a better run from Brian Robinson. Now, somebody said on Twitter that Brian Robinson had a lane, and I don't disagree. Like, first thing he did was go left, cut left, jump cut left, when he could have just stayed the course. But my thing is, are we really about to criticize Brian Robinson when there's 3 bodies in his face at the time he gets the handoff? Do you think I'm about to tell him you should have went right instead of left? I can't do that. That man got Andrew Norwell and Cole Turner and 93 in his face at the time he gets the snap. I don't think he's seeing the field. I don't think anybody's seeing the field well in this moment. So that happens, but you have opportunity in theory if Andrew Norwell is able to take care of his block, because now you have Leno who's uncovered and you have Nick Martin who's uncovered. So he can press. But the issue with Nick Martin here, and the issue with Nick Martin on a couple of occasions throughout this time, is that he doesn't really have that good of a vision on the next level, meaning the second level, climbing, making sure you get. I don't think his vision is that good. And I don't know what, calls are in terms of like what his responsibility is, but I don't think you're supposed to see a center not climb if he's uncovered, right? So that's what happens right there. Obviously, Leno tries to attack. He goes to the next level, but I don't think he's anticipating Brian Robinson to bounce back. So 53 is able to shed, get off. But Brian Robinson makes a play. I think that was like 6 yards, 7 yards. He made that out of nothing. So credit to him. Okay, let's get into some of your opinions. Al2 said modern offense is running the center, and us running everything from the gun makes jobs easy for linebackers and safeties for the defense we're facing. Wentz with a good block though. Yeah. Everybody can kill on what we do. There ain't nothing hesitating players at the second level. And our interior offensive line are bums, so they can't make it. They can't make it work anyway. This offense will always be hot and cold all season, so I keep giving Wentz okay. He's playing a new system with the worst O-line. No, see, that's horrible game management. Okay. Ron's seat will get hotter, for sure. So we got a couple more. Like I said, I think that it's literally 2. No, it's 1 more. This is the last one. It's the last one. Okay. Here we go. This one was egregious. Now, for context purposes, the good man Mark Bullock, who's been on the show a couple times, he has suggested that he thinks that it could have been a different look or different read. But I think ultimately, after watching this like several times, I don't think this was an RPO. I think this was actually a design from the head movement of Carson Wentz to influence the linebackers. So what you'll see, before we even get into the run, I'll just show you all so you can see what I'm talking about. Curtis Samuel is going to motion out to his left, right? So at the snap, the objective here, right here, you're just selling the look to freeze the linebackers. You're selling the look to freeze the linebackers. And ultimately, this pump or that little seal right there that he's throwing to Curtis Samuel is just supposed to freeze or influence the linebackers from their penetration downfield. So I don't think it was an RPO. I don't think Carson Wentz messed up. And here's my issue with this one, is because all of those things that I just said, right? I don't think it was an RPO. I don't think Wentz messed up. I think the design was to influence the linebackers. Who the hell was responsible for climbing to the next level? You got Nick Martin and you have Andrew Norwell, both running the zone option or the zone run, and both of them take the same guy, the same linebacker. They both take. Now that's a form of miscommunication. And as I'm processing this right now, people blamed Andrew Norwell, right? And I do think that this could be a Norwell thing. But think about what happens in this moment. Norwell sees Martin giving help to 77. At this moment, Norwell sees Martin giving help to 77. So ask yourself before you continue, because I'm asking you all, if Norwell sees Nick Martin giving help to 77, let me rephrase this. If you see your Norwell, if you see Nick Martin giving help to 77, what are you going to do? Are you going to move to, who is that, 53 or 51? 53 is on the right side, 51 is on the left side. It's not until, look where Nick Martin is. He's still going there. And now they go to the same person at the same time. So my thing is, I think Norwell was still supposed to get 51, but I see clearly, or I understand why he may have thought that he had to go get 53. Nick Martin has to peel off quicker than that. And what was it even like? Sadiq didn't need help right here. Maybe he did that because of who it is. I think that's Justin Simmons. So maybe he wanted to make sure Justin was completely out of the play. I don't know. Like, it is important sometimes to key up on these guys. I'm guessing right here, right? But Nick Martin had no reason to give that help. That's too long of a distance to cover laterally. You can just go upfield. So what I'm saying is, if Nick Martin goes straight upfield at this moment, I think Andrew Norwell takes 51. 51 should have always been Norwell's assignment, but I think he saw Nick Martin give help to Sadiq. So he said, I'm going for 53. Again, no help on the second level. And I think ultimately, based on what I'm seeing, I think that there's miscommunication issues between the center and his interior. I think that these guys sometimes get worked up, meaning beat up at the line of scrimmage, at the point of attack. That causes issues. I think that sometimes they're just not executing. Like, they got worked this game, but I also think that they're just not executing. So it goes from communication, execution, and also being able to defend at the point of attack. And they ain't doing that. Ain't nobody really climbing. There's miscommunication in terms of who's supposed to get who on the next level. There's vision issues. I think Nick Martin is probably not seeing things clearly or taking too long to get to the next spot. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, where we at? Injuries will change things in the upcoming game, but running game is most important because QB is not the best option. This is the formation they should have been in on the goal line at the end of the game. Watch the safety run straight downhill with no care in the world. That is true. We'd have to keep losing out. I ain't gonna lie to you. If he loses against Chicago, I think his fate is sealed. Because he ain't making the playoffs, and you start off 1-5, bro. You lost your fan base before the meat of the season. It's too easy. Yeah, you meant linebacker. I got you. Snyder don't mind losing, probably do a whole contract. Hey, don't put that fear in my heart, bro. I really don't got time to be like, come on, bro. Rivera's lost, like, the fans have lost faith in Rivera. Every player in that front seven is playing a run. Shoot, ain't one looking for pass option there. It feels like this team might quit on Ron on Thursday night. Maybe. But yeah, so that's kind of where we at with the film session. We're at 1 hour and 45. I appreciate everybody who stood in here, man, who just appreciate the film. I think Wednesdays might just be my outlet. because Wednesdays we're not even focused on like the actual team and anything like that. We're just talking X's and O's. And even sometimes we do it on Friday too. Like I haven't had a chance to do it the last couple Fridays for various reasons. In terms of like a full like opponent thing. But yeah, Wednesdays, man, it's all football, bro. We ain't got nothing to worry about. Obviously, we got to talk about the good and the bad, and the run game. It's the findings in the run game was, that was bad. That was bad, but ultimately, that's that on that. So we have a game tomorrow, y'all. Chicago, appreciate you 757. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. We have a game tomorrow, and I think that, again, Washington has an opportunity. It'll be another close game. I said 21-17. I think Chicago wins. But don't make any mistakes. A win will make everything a little bit lighter in terms of moving forward, and maybe they can establish something after a game like this. Obviously, it ain't going to be easy because I believe the Packers are up next. Ooh, if the Packers up next, that's a problem. Yep, Packers up next. And then you on the road against Indy. So you are, I don't want to, look, the worst case scenario is still in play. If you lose against Chicago, you got Green Bay and Indianapolis up next. The Indianapolis defense, like, you may have a chance with Matt Ryan, but Indianapolis defense, they got it. They got it. So yeah, 21-17 is my prediction tomorrow for Chicago. I think Chicago wins. I don't know. Oh yeah, hey, look, we here to vent, baby. We here. I don't know exactly. And then for the morning show on Friday, it's gonna be an open show. Anything and everything you want to talk about, we'll cover. You can call in. Hey, look, man, my boy Hawk be checking in, man. I appreciate Hawk for always checking in. Let's open up the floor. I want to open up the floor to everybody and anybody that want to talk some ball, man. It's good talking to having a voice to conversate with. But yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning in nonetheless. And hopefully we're talking about a dub tomorrow. Post game, we will be live post game. So AJ, Dre, myself, we're gonna be chopping it up as soon as the game is over. Same thing we do on Sundays. So yeah, always keep that in mind too. So we got 2 shows, Thursday and Friday, and things like that. So y'all be safe, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Y'all can find me on Twitter if y'all ever want to chop it up throughout the day. I talk about a lot of Commander stuff on there as well. So y'all be safe, man. Enjoy y'all day. Appreciate y'all checking in. I still have faith in our locker room. This stream won't quit. Maybe. Hey, the team won't quit, man. Hopefully they can rally, man. Rally for themselves and despite the coach. But we're gonna see, man. Y'all be careful, man, out here. All right. Enjoy y'all day. We out of here.